All right. Well, welcome. My name is Patrice Kennerson. I am the Veteran Services Coordinator for Central Texas College. And welcome to one of the many series of web sessions we are going to have. This is going to occur every second Thursday, every month going forward, which I'm looking forward to because this gives me an opportunity to actually inform students of the actual processes that actually take place here in the Veteran Services Department here in Central Texas College. I'm looking forward to these sessions, and I would welcome you, Ms. Chavez, here, who's actually online with us. We have a lot of stuff to go over, basically. What I want to first inform, basically, is that this is an informative session. So any questions in regards to status checks, any students coming online, please refer those questions to the veterans.services@ctcd.edu email, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions in regards to status checks. Just to remind you, this just is an informative session. So we're going to answer any questions in regards to the basics of applying for VA benefits for the first time, in regards to new students. We're also going to answer questions in regards to the recertification process. We're also going to address questions in regards to if you have to add courses, if you have to drop courses, the process and how that works. Any type of questions in regards to what exactly are the consequences in regards to if you do drop any courses, um, how that's going to affect you in any way. And of course, if you have any specific questions, final facts, Q&As, questions you have at the very end. Okay, so let's get started, basically. So one of the biggest questions we have coming in, especially at the start of any big semester, whether it's fall or spring, is what we've been getting a lot lately is how do we apply basically for VA, especially when we have students who are transitioning out of the military. uh, we've been getting that, especially when with this whole COVID process happening and the fact that students are no longer allowed to come on campus. We've been getting a lot of phone calls and email messages basically coming in. How do we apply for veterans benefits, unfortunately? So I have no problem answering that, and I can understand the frustration because there's not pretty much no broadcast information about how to apply for VA. Well, here is how you basically do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually provide you the steps on how you can basically apply for VA benefits. So there is a website that you can go to. It is www.va.gov. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to show you where that website is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you where that is. So I'm going to share my screen. And where is that? Right here. And bear me one moment as I go ahead and pull that up. And this is the actual website right here. And if you can see that, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. And when you get to www.va.gov, there's actually four boxes. You see healthcare, disability, records, and education. So when you get to the bottom, you're going to go to the fourth box in the lower left-hand corner where it says education. And inside this education box, you're going to see four links. You're going to go to the bottom where it says apply for education benefits. You're going to click on that last link. And eventually, you're going to get a whole bunch of writing. And you want to scroll down. And of course, off to the left side, you're going to see where it's highlighted, it says how to apply. Now, in the middle, towards the right a little bit, you'll see this big statement that says how to apply for the GI Bill and related benefits. Of course, you want to read all this information because it's very important and very pertinent. But you want to continue to read until you scroll down until you see this big green rectangular statement that says find education's benefit forms. So you want to click on that. When you click on that, it's going to give you some information. Well, let me go back up here. So when you click on that, it's going to ask you or give you three choices to choose from. Are you applying for a benefit or updating your program or place of training? Now, either you're applying for benefits for the new time or you're transferring in from a place or a program place of training. Now, if you're applying for a new benefit, of course, you want to go ahead and click on this. Now it's going to ask you an additional question. Are you a veteran or a service member claiming a benefit based on your own service? You either answer yes or no. So let's just say you're a veteran. You click on that. And are you claiming a National Call to Service educational benefit? This is uncommon. Most people are going to answer no in this case. Now, that automatically did that, sir. Are you applying for veteran employment through technology, also known as VTech? Most people are going to say no. So you're going to click on that as well. Now, at this point, it's going to take you through the application process. So you go ahead and say and apply now. Now, at this point, it's going to take you through the normal question processes. Depending upon whether you're a veteran or a dependent, you just go ahead and answer the questions accordingly. And then depending upon your service date, if you are the actual veteran, you can either qualify for the following chapters. You can qualify for either Montgomery Chapter 30, Montgomery Chapter 30, or Post 9/11 Chapter 33. You can also qualify for vocational rehabilitation, which is Chapter 31. Or if you're a dependent, you can also qualify for Dependent Chapter 35, or you can qualify for Post 9/11 Chapter 33 Transferability Dependent Chapter 33. So depending upon whether you're a veteran or a dependent, you can qualify for either one of those chapters. Now, once you're finishing out and you're through with the process of applying for benefits, it's going to give you some information once you finish applying. Now, this is important. Once you scroll down here, you want to read through this entire website because this is important. And the reason why this is important because, and this is why anytime you're thinking about going to school, most people don't understand this process, you're going to receive a letter. And this letter is what is known as the certificate of eligibility. Now, this is a very important letter because this is going to determine what benefit that you're actually eligible to receive. Now, this statement here, what happens after I apply? What happens after you apply? It does take the Department of Veteran Affairs to determine what benefit you're actually eligible to receive. Once you're finished, they have to determine that benefit, and how long does that process take before they determine what your benefit's going to be. That process can take up, as you can see at the very bottom, it could take up to anywhere approximately 30 days. Now, that is a long time. Now, during the meanwhile, you're trying to figure out, okay, that's a long time. I'm trying to start school. What can I do in the meantime? Okay. Well, during that time, well, you can also do a couple of things. While you're waiting for that certificate of ability, you can also see about also trying to get yourself enrolled in school. And the reason why I say that is because the way the process works here at Central Texas College is that you can also be what I would like to call ambidextrous and use both the left and the right hand. So while you're getting the VA process working on this side, you can get your admissions process working on on the right hand side. If you're a brand new student, that is, you can work about getting your transcripts coming in. If you're coming in, if you have any military credit that's coming in, getting the admissions process set up, putting in your application, getting your residency established, registration, working with an academic advisor, getting that process set up along the way. The reason why I say you want to get started on that as you're working on getting your certificate of eligibility, because as you can see, it does take up to 30 days, because once you get all the admissions and registration and academic advising process set up along the way, is because once you're finished getting all of that settled, and you would have to come back and see us, because at that point you would be ready and to go and set up to go ahead and start registering for classes. Because at that point, what would happen is that once you're ready to go and register and ready to set up registering for classes, depending upon what benefit you find out once you get your certificate of eligibility, then you get set up and you're ready to be registered for classes. At that point, you can come back and see us and we can go ahead and get your benefits processed, so to speak. Now, the thing about this is depending upon what benefits you're eligible to receive, can either provide you with a small window or absolutely no window. And when I mean by that is, for example, if you're eligible for like Montgomery Chapter 30 or Dependent Educational Assistance, which is Chapter 35, those benefits will require you to actually pay for your classes out of pocket. And that's what I mean basically when I say that you actually have no window as far as paying for your classes out of pocket. No window as far as you have to pay for your classes out of pocket. So you would have to come see us immediately, because with the way our process works is that we have to see your classes in the system, your actual credit hours. Now, if you're eligible for benefits like Chapter 33, which is post 9/11 or vocational rehab, then you do have somewhat of a larger window, so to speak. Not too big of a window, depending upon when your classes start. Because then what we could do is that as soon as you set up your arrangements or you've made registration for classes and you receive that certificate of eligibility, then you can come see us and we can go ahead and set up the rest of the arrangements. And then we can set up arrangements with the business office pretty much to have your classes put on what we call a financial hold, so we can go ahead and set up your paperwork and send those credit hours over to the Department of Veteran Affairs and let them know that because you're on this particular benefit, whether it's post 9/11 or vocational rehab, and pretty much say, well, they're using this benefit and they're not required to make payments towards tuition. So that way you can go ahead and go to class as normal. So that's why I say in this case, it's good to be ambidextrous, because it takes 30 days for VA to make a decision in determining how long, in determining what benefits you're going to go ahead and be eligible for. It's good to, once you have this process started, go ahead and work as a new student on working on getting your admission set up. So that's pretty much what you can do on that portion as far as how I go ahead and get my VA benefits set up from there. And then as a new student, you go ahead and work on getting on the admissions part, getting yourself admitted to Central Texas College. So it's kind of like hitting two birds with one stone in an instance. So, um, so that takes care of part of how you can actually apply for VA benefits. Now, once you go ahead and get that settled out of the way, one of the other questions pretty much that we have is what documents that you would need to submit as a new student coming in to Central Texas College to go ahead and get your VA benefits processed. Well, basically, most of the documents that you need to submit come from our side, but one of the documents you need to have for sure is that when you get your certificate of eligibility, you need to make sure you have the entire document. Now, when you get your certificate eligibility, you probably will get somewhat of a semi packet. And what I mean by that is it probably will be anywhere from about 4 to 6 pages long. And sometimes you will get a duplicate copy. My recommendation to students is when you get that packet, pretty much if you want to bring the entire letter to us or package, letter, envelope, unopened, that's what I would recommend. Most likely because it's going to have a lot of information in it. And that information is important because that information will have most likely a start date and what is known as a delimiting date. And what I mean by the delimiting date, that means an end date. Okay, so that's why that certificate of eligibility is important. The certificate of eligibility is also important in an instance because it also has the amount of dates and time that has served, and that's usually for veterans in this case, because it also has information on how many months you're eligible for. It's also important in an instance for those who dependents, specifically for Chapter 35, because it has a specific number on there, specifically a payment type number, a VA file number in this case. And for those who are using Chapter 35, you'll have a VA file number ending in the last four, which would be your Social Security number, which, by the way, if you are eligible and you would be using a sponsored social security number, which you would be inputting while you're applying for VA benefit. So that's something you might want to keep in the back of your head when you get your dependent, excuse me, when you get your what is it? I'm sorry. When you get your certificate of eligibility, you'll see the last four of the sponsor's social security number on your certificate of eligibility. So that's a very important document you want to keep always. And keep the whole document. You don't just want to bring in the first sheet. You want to bring in the whole document as is. Take it, and we'll go ahead and we'll take that document. We'll make a copy of it, and we'll give that document back to you. Other documents that you might need are specifically your degree plan or your certification plan, and it has to be signed by an academic advisor. Um, what we'll also provide to you pretty much is a student responsibilities form. And basically what that student responsibilities form is that it outlines your responsibilities as a VA student. What that says is, it is a list of statements pretty much saying what VA will pay for in classes, what VA will not pay for in classes. It also outlines your responsibilities academically, let you know, just familiar, is very familiar to financial aid in a sense that you have to maintain an acceptable GPA, which is overall a 2.0. If in the fact that if your GPA falls below 2.0, like financial aid, VA does have the right to suspend your VA benefits until you get your GPA back up to a 2.0, like it's supposed to be. Um, that document will stay on file for up to 3 years, pretty much, and we do check it on an annual basis. Other documents that you will also be required to fill out is what is called a Veterans Enrollment Certificate. That document you will be required to complete every single semester. Now, there are two ways you can actually complete a Veterans Enrollment Certificate, but there's also one more document before I get to that. For veterans, you also have to submit to us what is called a DD 214. If you've been honorably discharged, and it has to be a membership number 4. And that you will all admit, if you actually been discharged, you will actually have a copy of that. If you have not already submitted that to the school once you've gone through the admissions process, along with other transcripts, if you have like a joint service transcript. But most of you will have that done if you've gone through the admissions process. Now, back to basically the the Veterans Enrollment Certificate. There's actually two ways you can submit the Veterans Enrollment Certificate, and I actually want to take you to where that looks like. You can submit it through our eTreef system, and you can actually download the Veterans Enrollment Certificate. Let's see. First off, the first way you can do it is you can actually log into and submit it through eTreef online. And this is the route you can go. You can go to our website at www.c as in Charlie, T as in Tango, C as in Charlie, D as in Delta, edu. And when you get to the home page, this is what it's going to look like. And you're going to click on the first tab here where it says Student Tools. And then you're going to scroll all the way down. I'm sorry, let me get back up there and click on it. For some reason it doesn't want to stay. If I do something wrong here. Okay, there we go. And you're going to click where it says Student Forms. And when you click on Student Forms, it's going to allow you, it is going to ask for your username and password. So I'm just going to use mine as an example. Okay. On the right side, it is going to give you a list. You want to go where it says Forms. You want to click on Forms, and it's going to give you a list. Now you can scroll down, but in the top box to make things faster, if you want to type in veterans, and automatically it'll pop up veterans enrollment certificate. If you click, let me see if I can move this out of the way so you can ease it. Okay, there we go. It will have your first and last name probably already pre-filled. You'll go ahead and fill in this information accordingly. Now, as you can see, it's going to have some fields that you have to fill in. You see where it says VA file number? This is only for Chapter 35 recipients earlier. Remember I mentioned there's a VA file number for Chapter 35 recipients? This is going to be your sponsor's social security number. Let me remind you, if you're using Chapter 35, it is imperative that you put that number in. It cannot be shortened. It cannot be abbreviated. It has to be the full Social Security number. Otherwise, the Veterans Enrollment Certificate will be rejected. This number, of course, the Social Security number, this will be you. This will be your Social Security number. And of course, you will just fill out the other fields accordingly. And you scroll down and you just answer the other questions as likely, as so. Okay, have you changed your degree plan since your last certification? If you mark yes, there is a form that you have to complete. It's called the Change in Program in Place of Training form. And we do have that form available in hard copy form that we can provide to you. It's listed as a 22-1995, which is for veterans, or 22-54-95, which is for dependents. You can find that on the e-benefits page, which is on www.va.gov. Are you attending any other colleges or universities while attending CTC? If you mark yes, you will be labeled as a guest student. If you are labeled as a guest student, you will have to provide what is also known, if you're getting your parent degree from that institution, you will have to provide what is known a parent institutional letter from that school stating the courses that you're taking here at Central Texas College meet what's on that degree plan from that school here at Central Texas College. What's TA used? What TA stands for is tuition assistance. If it's not used, you just mark no. And of course, you just go forward. If you are on a consortium agreement during this enrollment period and CTC is a secondary school, of course, a parent institution letter must be received from your primary school to be certified. Of course, you just answer the questions accordingly. And this is very wordy, so I'm not going to go through all this. Now, a lot of this information here, you have to initial by each one of these statements. You will see this information every single time you fill out this Veterans Enrollment Certificate. And the reason why is because these statements here are every time you sign up for courses every single semester, VA wants to assure you every single time you sign up for courses, they want to make you aware and make you understand that VA is not going to pay for certain courses. For example, if you are a veteran, they will not pay for 1 hour PE courses. Remedial or developmental courses that are considered online or coded as online will not be paid for by Veteran Affairs as well. So you're going to see that every single time. So anytime you register for any type of one of these courses, please be aware and make sure what type of courses you are signing up for. So if you have any questions on any type of courses that you're signing up for, make sure, if you're not sure about the type of course you're signing up for, if you have questions about it, or if you're not sure if it fits on your degree plan, make sure you give us a call or send us an email questioning any course before you sign up for it. And we'll be more than happy to look at that course more thoroughly for you and give you an answer before you sign up for it. In questions to withdrawal courses, we'll get into that a little bit later, just to make you sure and understand the consequences of withdrawing a course and let you know what could possibly happen if you withdraw from a course, if you receive any type of money for that course from VA. So you do have to initial by this, and you'll see this every single time. And these are the same statements you'll see on your student responsibilities form, what you sign and dated. The student responsibilities form again. And these are the courses you also have to check as well. And this is everything that is on the Veterans Enrollment Certificate. Here you will list the courses only that you take for the current term. We get questions constantly that people ask us, do we have to list every single course that is on? Mostly this happens with certificate plans because the certificate plans are significantly shorter than the actual degree plans. No, you do not have to list every single course that's on the certificate plan or the degree plan. No, let me remind you, this is only for the courses that are on the current term or the semester. And you only have to list the course itself. You don't have to actually list the name of the course, like abnormal psychology or contemporary mathematics. You can actually list a code like PSYC 2301, and you list the number of credits, and that's it. And here in the comments section, if there's anything wrong, now this is where we get a lot of problems on why sometimes the veterans enrollment certificates are returned back to students. And they don't understand why. Well, this is the reason. I want to make it very, very clear, and this is important. This is why we encourage students to check your emails constantly if you hadn't heard anything back. There's a strong possibility that if something is wrong, first check your student email, because there's a good chance that your veterans enrollment certificate could have been returned for possible errors. If there could have been returned for possible errors, you want to check the comment sections. Our are very, very thorough in explaining in detail exactly why these veterans enrollment certificates were returned. They will tell you the reason why the veterans enrollment certificates were returned, and they will list it in the comment sections. For example, the courses that were listed do not match what was on the degree plan. Or for example, the courses listed do not match what was on the student probation agreement. Examples such as that. So you want to make sure, if you hadn't heard anything back in a while, you want to check your email first of all. Second of all, if you get your veterans enrollment certificate back and there is a problem, check the comment section. That is very important. Also down here, you have what is called a destination center. Now, this is also very important, and this is also another reason why there has been some problems as to why some veterans enrollment certificates have not been processed, is because in some instances, they have been rerouted incorrectly. Now, we process all veterans enrollment certificates. Now, if you're going, most likely, well, everybody should be sending their enrollment certificates here to the main campus. Now, in accordance to your last name, it should be going into one of these four areas. You see where it says Texas A through F, Texas G through L, Texas M through R, and Texas S through Z. And where your last name begins, you should be sending it to any one of these four areas. Anywhere these four alphabetized listings. This is where it should be going. Any one of these areas. If you send it to any one of these, it will be misrouted and it will take longer, or most likely never, to be processed. So let me remind you of that, even though you're attending outside of campus. If you are attending outside of campus, you might want to get in contact with our Eagles on Call system. And we do have that that location. I'll be happy to get that for you as soon as we're done here. But most likely, if you are attending, or if you're completing this online and your name falls in any one of these categories, you want to submit it in each one of these four areas here. That way it will be routed to the correct school certifying official for processing. And also, what I would also do is, especially if you're on, and just to avoid being dropped on payment, if you're on chapters 31 and 33, I would also get in contact after you submit it online. And it just occurred to me, after you submit a veterans enrollment certificate online, get in contact with us to let us know that you submitted a veterans enrollment certificate online. That way, we will be able to notify the school certifying officials. So that way we can see and locate that and make sure everything is okay. That way we can go ahead and do what we can on our end. So once we see that your veterans enrollment certificate is correct, then we'll go ahead and do what we can to hold your classes for being non-drop, for being dropped for non-payment. So, okay. So that takes care of the veterans enrollment certificate. So, and the documents needed. So, that's one way, and that's not just for new students, that's also for recertification of students as well. So that's one way you can actually complete the veterans enrollment certificate. Now, there's also been questions in regards to, if I can't complete this online, because there have been issues about technical, they've been students have problems being able to access this form online. How can I get to it another way? Well, there is another way you can actually get to the, let's see, the Veterans Enrollment Certificate online. And the other way to actually get to the Veterans Enrollment Certificate online is through here. If you go to, let's see, www.ctcd.edu, you go through here and you go to this website and you go to students and you go to military veterans. And if you scroll, let me see if I get this out of the way here. You scroll down here, and in off to the left side, you hit on veterans benefits. And there is a lot of information. Okay, so if you get into the middle of the screen, there is this big blue box, and there is this blue outline statement that says Veterans Enrollment Certificate. If you click on that, let's see if it'll actually come up for me. It should be a PDF format. I'm hoping it'll come up. Perfect, it does. And this is updated. In case you're having trouble of actually filling out the Veterans Enrollment Certificate online, you can actually download this, print it off, scan it, and send it to Veterans Services. The email address is at the very bottom of the form. Veterans, and send it exactly to where it is, veterans.services@ctcd.edu. And we can take that as well. And that's for new students as well as recertification. And that's basically covers the two ways we can actually submit and accept the verification enrollment certificate. Okay. In regards to the add and drop process and courses. Now, we've gotten a lot of questions in regards to students adding and dropping courses. Now, if students want to add and drop courses, there's been some confusion in regards to how to actually add a course. Now, what I do want to make very clear is fine. There has been some instances, and it has been happening a lot that, and this is no fault of the student. We clearly understand this, but there is some information I do want to make very, very clear. There has been some cancellations, and as I stated, this is no fault of the student. If a course does get canceled due to no fault of your own, whether it's due to lack of enrollment, and you sign up for another course to replace that. Unfortunately, and I would like to have this happen, but it doesn't. Unfortunately, we as the Veteran Services Office do not get notified. So if you do decide to add another course, you have to go ahead and let us know. Otherwise, what will happen is if you have a particular benefit, such as post 9/11 or vocational rehab, and you don't let us know that you sign up for another course, you will get dropped for non-payment. Now, if you add another course, what you would have to do is you do have to complete a Veterans Enrollment Certificate, not a CTC add and drop form. And that's where the confusion lies. A lot of people assume that because they got dropped from another course or the course got canceled, they have to complete the CTC add and drop form. No, if you simply just add another course, you would just need to complete the Veterans Enrollment Certificate to add the course. That's what you would just need to do. In this case, now, if you're dropping a course and adding another one, then yes, you would just need to go ahead and complete the add drop form. And let me see if I can go ahead and find that one right quick. See here. Bingo. Hang on 1 second. I think someone had a question. Did someone had a question, Maricela?
No, I didn't have any questions.
Oh, okay.
No, yes, we have one from Facebook, and it says, Mr. Flores said my information has been sent to the VA. Should I call the VA and ask them about the status of it all? Chapter 35.
No. Remember, I stated that 80 status checks, we can be happy. We'll be happy to check on the status for you, but if Mr. Flores, who's one of the school certifying officials, states that if the information has been sent to Veteran Affairs at this point, then you're more than welcome to go ahead and call VA. As far as at this point, it may have been sent for payment processing. You're more than welcome to contact Veteran Affairs to see where their status are as far as them paying out, as far as where they are as far as processing the payment. You're more than welcome to do that. Has Mr. Flores stated that your account's been certified at that moment, or?
Just waiting for a response.
Okay.
You might want to keep on, and I'll let you know if they respond.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and keep going on at this point. So just to actually pull up the VA drop form. Okay, so this is the actual VA add and drop form. So if I can get it to okay, so anytime a student wants to add and drop a course, the only time you want to actually use this form is if you're dropping a course. Okay, now before I proceed any further, anytime you as a student want to drop a course, I would first have you want to consult with us first before you consider dropping a course, because the Department of Veteran Affairs is very strict in this case, especially if your classes have already been certified. Let me warn you, I understand that life circumstances are uncontrollable. And let me tell you right now, if your classes have been certified, unless you are dropping the class before the class starts, if you're dropping the class on or after, and VA has already paid for that class, you will be paying the Department of Veteran Affairs back money if you go ahead and proceed with dropping any class. I will tell you that right now. So think long and hard before you drop the class for any reason outside of mitigating circumstances. And what I mean when I say a mitigating circumstance is a circumstance outside of your control. And that could be any reason from a child being sick to you being sick, reasons like COVID to where you have to move, reasons like work. Those are reasons outside of your control, reasons that you have absolutely no control over, job circumstances, anything that falls within that category. But if it's a reason like, oh, I just don't want to do the classwork, or I'm just withdrawing, or anything like that, that's not considered a mitigating circumstance. So that's why I always try to tell students before you drop a class, if it's before class starts, you don't have a problem. But even if it's on the day class starts and you have never even touched Blackboard, even though these classes are online, you will be owing the school and VA money, especially if these classes have been paid for and VA has sent out money. So think twice before you drop a class. But however, if you have no choice and you do have to drop a class, and first you have to drop with the registrar's office. That's your first step. Second of all, once you drop the class with the registrar's office, then you have to complete this form with us, because what we have to do is we have to check the system. We have to check our system here in Veteran Services, see if this class has been certified. Then if this class has been certified, we have to correct that and send that information over to Veteran Services immediately. And this is the form you would have to fill out. So if you're dropping a class and adding a class in its place, then this is the form you need to complete. If you're just adding classes, you don't want to use this form. You want to use the Veterans Enrollment Certificate. But if you're dropping and adding, then let me see if I can scroll this up so you can look. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Just disappeared all of a sudden. There we go. Okay. So if you're dropping a class and adding, you want to put the class you're dropping here, and you want to put that class you're adding in its place. And this form needs to be filled out completely. So you need to initial here and saying I request a schedule change, read the statement, and you need to fill out everything, everything for even to where the semester that you're dropping the class in, and this is giving you a clear understanding of what's going to happen. So yeah, just be aware that anytime you drop a class on, and after the class has started, you will be responsible, especially if VA has already certified a class and you have already received money for it. So, but yes, if you have to drop the class, in some cases it's understandable, then yes, you first have to drop with the registrar's office. Then once you drop with the registrar's office, because we will check the system, then you would come and see us and we will have you complete, or you would email us if the campus is still closed or you can't get up there for any reason. Then we will send you this form. You would complete this form, and then of course you would just send it back to us. And the information, again, you can send by email, is at the bottom at veterans.services@ctcd.edu. So, and that basically takes care of how you would go ahead and take care of how you would go ahead and drop a course, pretty much.
We do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The question says, how long after your information is sent to the VA does it take to receive the BAH?
Okay. Now, I will tell you this. Once we go ahead and certify the classes and we send the information, once we go ahead and certify the classes and we send the information to VA, at this point, it is out of our hands. VA goes ahead and takes care of the payments in regards to tuition and fees if you're Chapter 33 in regards to BAH. So unfortunately, I cannot, or we cannot answer that question. What we can do is we can give you the number to VA, and they can tell you how long it would take for them to go ahead and process the BAH. That number is 1-888-442-4551. And I will also tell you this. We did get notification that VA is behind processing payments by about 2 weeks. So it is taking longer for them at this time than normal to process payments out for everybody. So, and that's also something I do want to make clear also. And thank you. That's a good question. Anytime we send certifications off, we just process the hours. So we try to get those in as soon as possible. So that's why we always try to advise students. We process certifications for everybody. And we got quite a few people from quite a few campuses. We process almost nearly close to 5,000 certifications per semester. So that's why we always try to encourage students. You want to get those certifications in as soon as possible. You know, as early as you can, as soon as registration starts. The sooner you get your certification in, the sooner you can be processed. Because when we get the certifications in, we send in the credit hours. But once we send the credit hours into the Department of Veteran Affairs, then after that, as far as the time it takes for them to process a payment, at that point, we can't really say how long it'll take or when you would receive your payment. At that point, that would be the Department of Veteran Affairs. They would be the only ones to know exactly when you would receive your. And that's why I provided that number. So again, if you really want to know for sure when your payment would go out once your certification has been processed, I will give you the number to Muskogee, Oklahoma. Once your certification has been set, the number to the main VA office would be 1-888-442-4551. But however, like I said, we did get notification, and this was a couple of weeks ago, that VA has been behind in processing payments by about 2 weeks. So don't be surprised if you may not hear, or if they tell you it could be a couple of weeks or so before you could get any kind of payment or stuff, or they tell you that they're actually behind.
That's all the questions we have so far.
Okay. Let's see. Well, that's the information we have right now. Well, we are available by chat. Let me go ahead and pull that back up so I can show you where you're more than welcome to send us a chat in case if you have questions come up later on. Okay, so if you go back to www.ctcd.edu, you'll get to the home page. If you go to students and you to military veterans, and when you click on that page, if you go up to the left side, there is this blue box that says live help. You click on that box and you'll be able to go ahead and type in It's going to ask for your first and last name, and it's going to ask for your CTC ID or date of birth. Let me see if I can. There we go, because I wanted to get that. Bingo. And it's going to ask for your email address, and of course, it's going to ask for your other information like your telephone number, and then it's going to ask for your describe your issue. So whatever question you might have, and what I'm asking is that anytime you describe your issue, please be as descriptive as possible, so we can give you a clear answer. What we've been getting a lot of is we've been getting a lot of one-word responses, so we're having to go back and asking students to be more descriptive in their questions and in their responses. And what that does is that consumes a lot of time. So if you use these chat messages, please, please, please be more descriptive so we can go ahead and give you a clear response. That helps us to go ahead and solve your issue a lot more quicker for us. We can help us research it a lot faster for you. So this is the live chat that we use, and we do have school certifying officials that are actually processing these chats as well. Now, if your chat does not get answered right away, the good news is what happens is that this chat goes directly into the Veteran Services email box. So even if no one is available to answer your chat lively, then it turns into an email message, and then we respond to it by email. So either way, one by other, you will get a response back. Okay. So that takes care of that. Okay. So for right now, that's all I have. Did we have any other questions or concerns?
No, we don't have any other questions. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has participated and helped out in this process. It has been a great opportunity for you all to ask questions and for us to be able to help guide you through some of these questions that can be a little bit difficult to figure out sometimes. Thank you, Patrice, for helping guide our students through this as well. We look forward to seeing you again the second Thursday of March. That will be when we have our next session. So if anybody else has any questions or not sure how to process something, that would be a great opportunity for you to join us at that time. For those of you that will be watching this after the live event, please, please, please keep looking at our CTC lives. We have a lot of great information that is being distributed and created just to help guide you through these processes that can be somewhat difficult to understand or difficult to follow. So we hope to see you soon in our next one. Thank you for having this time with us, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who has joined on. I really enjoy speaking with all of you, and I hope to see you again next month.